When you're defending your enterprise, you want to defend every identity type from customers to employees to partners to AI agents to non human identities.
Hi, I'm Lauren Everett, Director of the Okta Newsroom, and I'm joined by Okta CEO and co-founder Todd McKinnon to discuss a brand new category, the Identity Security Fabric. Hi, Todd. Thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, Lauren.
Thanks. Great to see you again. As you well know, the security landscape has never been more complex, and that's really driven by this explosion of non-human identities and the rapid deployment of AI agents. And that complexity is creating new risks. But today we are talking about solutions, and a big one of those is the Identity Security Fabric. So before we dive in, could you just explain and walk us through at a high level what an Identity Security Fabric is?
It's a new category. It's not a specific company, it's not a specific product. It's a new way to think about the identity landscape and the security landscape. And the idea is quite simple, and that is your identity technology should have comprehensive coverage. So it should not exist in silos because when you're defending your enterprise, you want to defend every identity type from customers to employees to partners to AI agents to non-human identities. You want it to work across every resource in your entire environment, whether it's databases or servers or SaaS applications or on-premise applications or any other kind of resource. And then you want it to support every use case or every workflow that is traditionally associated with identity tools, whether it's access management, multi-factor authentication, privilege access management. There's many of these down in the details categories of identity, but they should apply to everything, every identity, every resource, and every use case.
Thank you for that. And at the beginning of your answer, you mentioned a new category. Could you talk to us a little bit more about that? And do you see parallels maybe between this and the creation of the cloud-based identity management category?
I think every as technology matures in every wave, there's always it gets to a point where you need to create a broad platform or a broad category of what you're trying to do. It happened in the application era with CRM, where it combined sales automation, marketing, and support. It happened with back office with ERP, where it wasn't just about using Oracle for financials or SAP for HR. It was about what is your ERP solution? And it was this category. So I think identity technology has come to a place where we understand the importance of it. We understand how important it is for an effective operations of a company, or more importantly, the cyber posture of a company. And people have been trying to fill these needs with these point solutions. And the industry is at a point now where it's like, we need to rethink what this means. We need to rethink about this in terms of a broad category. And that's what this identity security fabric is all about. It's like framing for the world how a comprehensive solution that's integrated across all these use cases and identity types and resources is a better way.
I love that. And then let's dive into some risks. What are some of the biggest risks posed by AI agents, and how does the identity security fabric help mitigate those?
The concept of an identity security fabric sets you up really well for this agentic age we're in, which is first principles is that you have a comprehensive view of the data and the access points that these agents need. So you have all of these resources covered, whether it's you know who's accessing your data warehouse or you know who's accessing your SaaS application. And now you layer AI agents into it. And what is the first thing that everyone wants to do with an AI agent? It's a powerful new identity type in its own right, and they want to give it access to things. They want to give it access to very specific roles inside of applications. They want to give it broad access to things like data warehouses or document repositories. And when you put an agent in this construct of a fabric, you're set up for success because you can model the new identity type of an agent that's kind of like a person, kind of like a service account or a non-human identity, but it's really a combination of both of those. And when you put that new identity type in your fabric, and your fabric knows the resources and knows the data stores and knows the applications, making those connections and getting visibility, governance, and control across all of that, you're really set up for a great chance of success. And success being the agent can meet the business objectives, of course, but as important, if not more important, is that you can do that with a minimal amount of risk.
Oh, that's great. No, thank you. And I know Okta has long been a leader in securing human identities. And based on what we've just discussed, AI agents feel in some ways like a bit of a new challenge, but how are you thinking about them? Are you thinking of them as similar to human identities, or maybe this brand new frontier that we're
I think it's important to understand that there are similarities, and a lot of the work we've done securing humans and giving easy and seamless access to people can be leveraged, but it is different. It's not exactly like that. And the type of access usually is quite broad, and in some ways, it's hard to know the access the agent needs ahead of time. Where I think in a lot of people-centric workflows, you can more easily define actually where the workflow is going to go. One of the power of agents is that they can use data and use information in ways that can unlock new types of workflows and new types of value. And so it has to be flexible, but you can't give up the visibility. You have to know what the agent's doing. You have to know the sensitivity of the different access points in the applications and be able to put the right guardrails around what the agent can do. So you can get the best of both worlds: innovation and security and visibility and control.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you for that. And I know in previous, conversations that you've had with others, the identity security fabric has been described as sort of this unified neutral control plane, emphasis on neutral. Why is neutrality so important?
Yeah, I should mention that although I do think the concept of identity security fabric is a new category and it's broader than one company, it's kind of way of thinking about the problem. At Okta, we are trying to build the best set of capabilities that can implement your identity security fabric for you. So we believe we have the best set of capabilities to put customers in a position to realize these benefits. And that's an important thing to remember. So, but as customers go about doing that, there's cost of change. How do you migrate from your old way of doing things to your new way of doing things? And when I talk to customers, it's actually, you see scenarios where they have resources that are not even connected to their identity systems. And it's more of a greenfield rollout of the fabric in their environments. You have customers that have solutions in many of these use cases, but they're not integrated. They're not talking to each other. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, so to speak. And they don't have the great cyber posture that they should. So the evolution of customers is different. But I think what I'm hearing is that unanimously they understand this vision and they know that they don't want to have 50 different identity tools. They want one fabric. They want it all to work together. They want to be able to get this baseline that they can add in this new layer of agentic support and take advantage of all the agentic capabilities coming out. And that's what they're trying to do.
I love that. Actually, you just led into my next question. I was going to ask, what are you hearing from customers? It sounds like the reception is positive. Has this been something that people are kind of hungry for, aware of, already adopting, or what's kind of been the reception when you do talk to customers about this?
It resonates. I think it's a little bit like motherhood and apple pie. It's hard to argue with the concept of less complexity, less cost, better outcomes for end user experience, better outcomes for teams managing risk and governance, and better cyber outcomes. So it's hard to argue against it. I think there are questions about how real it is today, and how what are the costs of change? How do they take an organization that has largely been divided by the traditional categories of identity, privilege and governance and access management, and how do they transform that into this unified, connected set of teams and processes and technologies that can drive these better business outcomes? But the North Star is very clear and compelling, and it's about the entire industry, Okta included, building the great products and technologies to take us there. One thing that comes up often and is very important is that once you have this identity security fabric concept, it has to be very good at connecting to everything. So every resource, and there's a lot of work there in terms of setting new standards, getting existing technologies upgraded to these standards, making sure that identity security products actually have the integration capabilities, no matter what the age or how legacy the technology is. All these things are important because this fabric is not going to work if it doesn't connect to everything, and that's a very important part of the conversations. That's really where the rubber hits the road in terms of getting the benefits of this, is how it integrates.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you for mentioning that. And I also, just if you don't mind peering into your crystal ball, like when you look 3 to 5 years down the road, what Does
What's going to be the price of the stock market?
also that, if you know that.
I do know, yeah. So I can't tell you. It's confidential.
I'm sure a lot of folks would be very interested. But I am curious to get your thoughts on what a fully fabric-ready enterprise looks like and what possibilities does that unlock for organizations, maybe even beyond security.
Well, I mean, Okta is really about freeing everyone to safely use any technology. So I think the ultimate manifestation of this concept is that companies just pick the best technology to achieve their business objectives, and all of the friction uh, in terms of like authenticating and access and governance and privilege and the risk, it just is a solved problem. It's just well understood that you can pick whatever technology you want for your business, for your company, and the friction of configuring everything behind the scenes is going to be taken care of, and you just kind of tell it what risk policy you want, and everything is taken care of. That's the ultimate vision. That's what we're about, because it's about what these technologies, broadly speaking, whether it's AI or cloud or whatever the next wave of technology is, it's about what they can do for our companies, for our industries, and less about the really what should be a solved problem, which is how they are secured or how they are managed or how they're configured. We're trying to make that be as automated and seamless as possible, so companies can just get back to focusing on what matters, which is driving their own strategies and their own business and their own technology roadmap.
I love that. No, thank you. And I know we've covered a lot of ground, but is there one big takeaway about the identity security fabric that you really want people to remember or walk away with?
I think it's possible. It's the right way to think
Oh,
about it. These identity silos shouldn't exist. It should all be one unified fabric that drives the outcomes we all want.
I love that. Thank you. I think that's a wrap. And my biggest takeaway from all of this is the identity security fabric is frankly an imperative in today's age. And without it, it's really nearly impossible to realize the full potential of AI. And to learn more about the identity security fabric and other AI insights, folks can visit us on the Okta Newsroom.